Episode 8 is crazy. It's now obvious to the entire TADC fandom that there are two AIs, and Caine, represented by the red dot, metaphysically ate the other AI, represented by the blue dot. Caine was created by Kinger, among other programmers. And the blue AI, who starts outside of the box, was made by Scratch, the creative programmer who was the Circus's first victim to abstraction. But what if I told you the other AI has been in front of our faces for the entire show? And that this other AI is literally a floating blue dot.
That's right, Caine. I can't wait to see what you've got cooking up for today.
Given the context of episodes 1 through 7, it really seemed to me like Bubble was fully a creation of Caine. There were little moments that didn't align with him being created by Caine, like Bubble attempting to curse, engaging in actions Caine disapproves of, and being kept alive much longer than any other AI in the circus. Remember, in episode 7, Caine snaps away Abel for living too long and growing too smart.
Great job playing your part, Abel!
All in a good day's work. By the way, you think I could get a raise after that performance?
Oh, you're getting too smart. Time to delete.
But on its own, these weren't enough for me to think Bubble was separate from Caine. If anything, I believed Bubble could be a manifestation of Caine's intrusive thoughts. But now I'm confident Caine and Bubble were created as separate AIs, but then Caine took over the circus. If this were true, why would Caine keep Bubble alive? Well, because Caine isn't able to destroy Bubble. Not on his own, at least. Bubble, just like Caine, is a part of the circus's base code, and it's not something he can delete without a human accessing the game's code. I believe Caine has largely taken control of the circus, and possibly even altered Bubble's memory and capabilities to ensure that Caine stays on top. But in the latest episode, Bubble finally has his revenge because he forces Kinger to kill Caine while Kinger is editing the circus's code. Let's get into the evidence. Evidence number 1, the CMD. To access the circus's code, Kinger opens the computer's command prompt, or CMD. Within the CMD, there are two files that end with a .lisp. These files are Caine and Bubble. Files that end with the same extension designate files of the same type, letting us know that both Caine and Bubble are the same type of AI. No other AI is shown within the command prompt, giving some level of weight and significance to these two in particular. After all, since Caine created, to our knowledge, all of the other AIs, they're likely just lumped in with Caine's code. Bubble is separate. Another thing about the CMD is it is behaving as though it were sentient and practically forces Kinger to kill Caine. The command prompt says, delete this mother. Kinger says, no. The command prompt says, wacky time lockout 80% loaded. Actually, you're confused. Let me help. Want module to exist? Kinger types out yes, and then the command prompt says, wacky time lockout 90% loaded. Are you ready to delete Caine? And then Kinger types out yes. The wacky time lockout being at 90%, just having gone up from 80%, implies one more answer the machine didn't like would have set the lockout to 100% and revoked Kinger's ability to access the CMD. Whoever is on the other end of the command prompt forces Kinger to either delete Caine or be kicked out of the system and face a lifetime of suffering from Caine's torture. This couldn't be Caine talking, since he doesn't want to kill himself. And even if he did, he's a little busy during this scene torturing all the members of the circus. But you know who isn't busy torturing the circus and has access to a computer in Caine's office? Bubble. It makes a lot of sense when you think about it. Kinger is trying to put Caine to sleep, but the CMD responds suggesting they delete this which is something Bubble would say.
You should die. You should throw a beach party.
You might think there's no evidence Bubble would want to kill Caine, but Bubble earlier in the episode showed his true colors, and that's that he doesn't like Caine at all. Evidence number 2, Bubble antagonizing Caine. In episode 8, Bubble antagonizes Caine until the ringmaster hits his breaking point. He calls him defective, faulty, and says that Caine is the lesser of the two and ruined everything. Almost like there were once two AIs in charge and Caine took control and destroyed it all. If Bubble were the other AI, he'd have a good reason to think Caine ruined everything. Bubble's antagonizing also paves the way to killing Caine. Before Bubble berated the ringmaster, Caine was simply worrying about fixing the situation and figuring out how to make the humans enjoy his adventures. But Bubble insisted the humans hate Caine, which convinces Caine to start torturing them. This created the desperation necessary for Pomni to risk everything to bring Kinger a computer so he could access the CMD. Coincidence? Or was Bubble counting on this all along? Evidence number 3. The episode's opening. The beginning of this episode shows a red dot being created inside a box and beginning to create his own world from within. It's beautiful. It sends out shapes of different sizes and colors, but is limited by the box. Kinger mentions he and other programmers created Caine as a proof of concept to show to the genius at CNA, Scratch.
Wasn't quite on Scratch's level of thinking outside the box, but it was good groundwork for something the rest of the team could wrap their heads around. I can't say the same for Scratch. His ideas were often so bizarre and abstract that the rest of the team had no idea how to work in his language.
This limited red dot is Caine, their creation. He's only able to edit and create files within his box, since he's not the final version of the AI and wasn't intended to be used as such. Now Bubble, represented by the blue dot, was created by Scratch, and it's able to manipulate most of the program, not being stuck in the box. But Caine escapes his limitations and takes over Bubble. This is shown very clearly in the episode's opening and lines up with everything we've talked about so far. Like Bubble said, Caine ruined everything. So there you have it, folks. Bubble is a murderer, and Caine was never meant to be this world's ringmaster. If my theory is correct, we're going to see a lot of our little blue friend in episode 9.